What is up, A-Team? Welcome back. Awesome here. Hope everyone's having an awesome day. So today I do want to talk about why the markets have actually bounced back slightly compared to yesterday. A lot of us that were waiting for yesterday for Donald Trump to actually mention Bitcoin or mention crypto, maybe sign an executive order, did not happen. And the markets kind of reflected negatively yesterday. I think a lot of people were actually anticipating that they were going to do a little bit better than they did. However, history did show us that either leading up to inauguration and or going through inauguration and into the following days, that the markets have tend to underperform. And usually if you go back and look at the history of it, markets are tending to go sideways for about anywhere from 8 to 13 days. When you go back to 2017 inauguration and 2021, the average is like literally anywhere from 10 to 13 days of going down or flat before we actually start to climb back up and go into a nice little rally. And that's kind of what we experienced yesterday. And as today, we actually had a little bit of a relief rally today. You can see we're up about 3.59% here on market cap. And you can see Bitcoin actually almost went down below 100,000 yesterday. Now it's back up to 106,000. This thing was riding pretty hot this morning. Still up 3.71% over the last 24 hours. XRP was also going down, dipped below the $3 range. And then this thing came back nicely, sitting around $3.18. You go down to the other ones that we're holding here on the channel. Stellar went down, HBAR went down, but these things have climbed back nicely in the last 24 hours. Not up a ton, but still performing better than yesterday. So that is a positive thing. And everyone's asking, what caused this relief? Like, why all of a sudden did we bounce back? And I think there was a lot of things that actually played into this. And it was today, as you guys know, basically Trump came out and announced that they were creating a new crypto task force. So as of today, the SEC with Trump has created a new crypto task force. So people are asking, like, what is this going to do for it? And the biggest thing it's going to do is it's going to actually set up a strategic step toward regulatory clarity. That's probably been one of the biggest gaps in crypto right now, is like, what can projects do and what projects can't do? Are projects a security? And if they are, then we know the outlines of what it is to be a security. But if they're a commodity, then here's what the roadmap to that would be. However, there's nothing like that. And that's sort of been the challenge over the last 4 years, is where is the line in the sand drawn? A lot of people in the industry, as you can see right here with Coinbase, you had Brian Armstrong, you had Paul out here, who's the legal guy for Coinbase, who actually sued the SEC for not giving clarity. They came out and asked, like, okay, so you're coming after us with all these Wells notices, you're suing XRP and Ripple, but you haven't gave any clarity as to like what we can and can't do. And they actually won this. And as you can see right here, we just won our petition in the third circuit, basically because they were denied this rulemaking. And so this is kind of a cool step forward here, is that they were actually, Coinbase is the first one to sort of push this over the edge here. But this is the most important thing when it comes to crypto, is what is the regulatory clarity here? And so this is what this task force with the SEC is going to do. It says the crypto task force will focus on resolving longstanding issues in regulatory treatment of digital assets. Historically, the SEC has largely relied on enforcement actions. As you guys know, Gary Gensler would just come in with a hammer and start sending out Wells notices and suing a bunch of these projects like Ripple, like Coinbase, like Binance. You go down the list of all these things, and just came in with a hammer and just knocked everyone off at the knees. And it was kind of crazy to see that, but that was kind of what they did. They ruled with an iron fist, and you couldn't really do a whole lot about it. However, the crypto industry started to fight back, and they started to actually win. I mean, as you guys know, XRP or Ripple, beat the SEC with Judge Torres. If you go back and look at that, right now we just saw right here with this post, this a couple days ago, back on January 13th, that they actually won their petition with the Third Circuit in regards to the SEC. So you can see a lot of things were starting to fire back on the SEC here, and it was not looking too good for the SEC. Again, Gary Gensler had resigned yesterday as well, which is another big catalyst. So he's no longer ahead of the SEC. So that's a positive thing here. But the big thing with this whole regulatory thing that we're talking about, the goal is to basically create guidelines and a roadmap to be successful in the digital era. That's really what it comes down to. And unfortunately, the SEC and the United States of America, in terms of the government, has not been able to do that in any way, shape, or form, which has caused some craziness and chaos in the crypto industry. It says the task force will prioritize defining clear registration requirements and disclosure frameworks for crypto entities while crafting practical compliance pathways, which, again, that's like the most logical way. Why would you not do that? We do it with everything else, from banking, from you can even go like look at OSHA. OSHA puts out a bunch of things on what employers can and can't do. I mean, there's so many things, but they will not make it for crypto, which is the largest growing asset in the world. It was kind of crazy, but I'm so thankful that we're actually starting to bridge this gap now and move forward. And I think a lot of people that are in crypto, have been waiting for this day to happen. I think that this will actually make crypto even bigger. It'll make crypto even more secure. It'll allow more people to feel better if they put their money into the industry. Because right now, as you guys know, I'm sure a lot of you can go out and talk to your family members. The majority of them are saying, no, crypto's a scam. Bitcoin's a scam. It's all fake. I mean, you'll hear all that, talking to your family members or friends. But again, I think the step forward is to make some regulatory clarity here. Again, the other thing right here is the task force will collaborate with the SEC division, industry stakeholders, which is great, right? Bringing industry people in like Coinbase, like Binance, like a lot of these other people, Brad Garlinghouse with Ripple, and get their thoughts on this. And then they also want to bring in global regulatory counterparts, such as the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which again, defining between a security, which goes to the SEC, and defining between a commodity goes to the CFTC. So again, having them involved to help guide that path and that rulemaking is super important. And so this is really, really big for crypto because again, you can see that they already won this with Coinbase. But then you have, Coinbase CEO come out here and saying this, that, he believes that a strategic Bitcoin reserve is going to happen. That's another big catalyst to this whole thing here. So as much as we have regulatory clarity coming through now you're having a large companies like Brian Armstrong echoing that of Michael Saylor, saying that he thinks that this is going to be a huge thing here coming forward. He said, I think he is excited about it. He really wants to be the first Bitcoin president. And I couldn't agree more with him. I think that that's really what's going to happen. In addition to that, you had him come out here and say that he believes, and I'm talking about he in terms of Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, believing that Bitcoin is definitely going to reach millions, if not multiple millions of dollars per Bitcoin in the future. And you know how big that would be? Because really what it comes down to, if you listen to what he says here, is that if we actually open up a Bitcoin reserve, that's going to push all the G20 to go and open up Bitcoin reserves too. So you're talking about Japan, Korea. You go down the list of all the countries that are out there that are going to go out and have to open up their reserves to match that of the United States. And that's where it gets really, really interesting here because, again, it's not just the United States that will do this. It's everyone in the G20. And I couldn't agree more with what he says here. He says, Bitcoin is better form of money than gold. For store of value, it's important governments hold Bitcoin over time. And we've seen that. We've actually seen that that's actually a good thing. El Salvador is a perfect example of a country who was in dire need of getting out of the hole that they were in. And now they're one of the most prospering nations in the world right now. Their streets are cleaned up. They're getting out of poverty, all this kind of stuff, which is what you want to see. And again, I think a lot of other nations are finally starting to see how powerful Bitcoin can be. And so again, seeing people come out and talk about this, getting on mainstream media, not just on social media, but on mainstream media where a lot of boomers are still watching, like a Fox News, like a CNN, these things need to be heard, like a Brian Armstrong coming out here and saying these things. So this is really, really good to sort of see. Also, you can see right here that Polymark, if you guys don't know, Polymark, it is like sort of like a site where you can go and you can put funds on there and you can, I guess you could gamble things if you wanted to. And they came out here and said there's a 35% chance Bitcoin reserves will happen. Also, another big thing that happened today was the Bank of America CEO came out and basically said that the banking industry will eventually embrace crypto. When will that be? I don't know. But it is positive momentum going forward, knowing that the Bank of America CEO, which again, now you have Jamie Dimon out here, who's obviously the head of Chase and all those good things, and JP Morgan, hopefully he comes out and says that now they'll probably embrace this as well. It says the executive noted that the industry would only require regulators to permit banks to operate within the growing cryptocurrency market. And the only way this is going to happen is right back to here, creating clarity with the crypto task force. So if regulatory clarity can happen, then boom, this can happen right here too, where banks could then operate using digital currency. And this is where XRP and Ripple really come into effect here. I think that this is where they're going to play a big factor. As you guys know, Ripple is already starting to work with Bank of America. That's been out there for a long time. Now you have them come out here saying that they want to work with the digital currency. They want to do these kind of things. So this just opens the door for Ripple and XRP to boom even more than we ever thought that they could. It says, this does appear closer than ever before with Donald Trump officially being inaugurated. So we do know that Donald Trump is probably one of the most pro-crypto leaders in the world right now, outside of probably the El Salvador president. But I mean, he's right up there with it. And with him coming in there and wanting to advance technology, I don't see why banks in the future will not be able to use any form of digital currency. I think that we kind of already are to some degree. a lot of us are using credit cards, we're using debit cards. Some of us don't even use cash. Like I don't even use cash very often. I use basically digital currency. It's just in the form of a card and using a credit card or a debit card. And we've already gone to that years ago. But I mean, now we're talking crypto, which again is a sort of a different form of asset here. But if you're still applying that same rule, like it holds an asset, like if Bitcoin was to hold the same thing as dollar, then you should be able to treat it the same way. So this again is exciting to sort of see that some industry leaders out here are starting to flip, starting to actually come to their senses that cryptocurrency actually does have value. Not every cryptocurrency has value. I want to make sure that's very clear. There's a lot of cryptocurrencies in the space that are literally just straight garbage and don't even deserve to even have a platform. But that's just what the space is. And you guys know this. I mean, a lot of you have been in here. Again, you want to focus on the ones that are here, the ones that actually have use case, the ones that actually can solve real world problems. Find those, and those are the ones that we will actually want to succeed in this place. Again, there's other memes out here, which again, we can get into that whole other sector here. Some of us are not that into memes like we used to be and things like that. However, memes do have a place. I will say that memes do have a place here. It's almost like buying trading cards or buying your favorite Pokemon card. That's kind of what memes have become. They're kind of that commodity of things, but to each our own on that. Like I said, I just think it's really nice that we're eventually going to go back to create some clarity here and really provide a roadmap for a lot of people. I think this will help turn things away from being the wild, wild west of what we had in the past. And I'm excited for what is going to happen. So this is, again, a big reason why we're actually sort of going up today. I think this is helps the cryptocurrency space a lot. I think people are starting to come into this space more and more as the days, as the days progress. And I think we're going to see more and more people come in. And it's going to be things like this that help move that forward. So kudos to Trump. Kudos to the SEC for creating this new task force. We talked about it for a long time. It's nice to finally see it here. And I'm excited to sort of see what the future is with all this. And with this right here, we're going to see more of this, these prices go up because more and more people are going to be coming into the market. So with all that, let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And with all that said, we're out. Peace out, everyone.